Here is, as I mentioned, we are off and running. William Penn, they're in the all reds with the black letters and black trim. The home team, Howard Wildcats, they're in the all white with the light blue trim, letters, and the numbers. William Penn going left to right as you see it. Going for the alley-oop here to get things started. Looking for Jaden Guy, who elevated on the baseline. And we have a whistle and a foul, our first of the ball game. So I'm going to welcome in here Jason McCall, who's joining us for the first time. Jason, helping out, producing. Appreciate you. Coach Harmon going to be here in a little bit. I figured we'd welcome you in. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's an honor being here today. Watching this game between the two great programs here. And it's going to be an interesting game so far, from what I can tell.
And Bill Harmon, the coach, will join us here momentarily. So a foul on the initial possession. And now we're going the other way here. The Wildcats, that's going to be a deep three for DeShields. Off the mark, rebound to Emmanuel Vaughn. He'll bring it up here for the Colonials, a minute into quarter number one. So again, thanks to everyone who's joining in on the simulcast here on Channel 28 on DETV. Another alley-oop attempt. Vaughn can't finish. Or wait, he can. Just not going to flush it down, but able to go off the window for two. That's our first bucket of the evening, and William Penn off to a 2-0 lead here in this one. Howard going to work it around. Again, two of these teams ranked in the top 10 here in the state of Delaware. Here's Richards Powell. Got Jalen Sample off his feet. Now the reset here with 6:20 to go. First quarter still 2-0 William Penn. Good defense outside the perimeter. And now we're going to have a whistle and a travel. So a nice defensive possession that time, Jason, for William Penn.
Yeah, great defense. The perimeter defense at the top of the key is very, very active there. And no penetration. And see that now turnover. And now it's William Penn's ball.
So 2-0 still here early on. 6:05 and ticking. Looking on the baseline, what a feed, and the hockey assist goes up top, but Jaden Guy going to be the one to finish it off, and that's a great passing there from the Colonials in the half court. So 4-0 William Penn. Both of these teams having successful years, 8-2 for Howard, 8-4 for William Penn, and both of them actually coming off a loss, so we'll see how they both respond. Not many losses go around for these two teams, but both of them coming off a loss as we get into this one. Richards Powell, corner three, is off the front of the rim. Marcus Johnson there for the second chance, but he has it picked and stolen away. And now we'll have a tie-up underneath. And it'll stay down this end, I believe. So it will be inbounded by Jameer DeShields. Again, in the game, that's R.J. Matthews. One of the players to watch for Howard up top. Jalen Sample, a player to watch for William Penn, going to try to stay with him. Richards Powell, three from the left wing, no good. This time Aiden trying to get up for the second chance, couldn't get it. Now William Penn quickly the other way. Leads to an open three in the corner, off the mark for Jalen Sample. For an offensive rebound, that time for Kai Gatson, and now a second chance here for William Penn. Drive and kick. How about this three? Too long off the hands of Michael Wilmore, who's wearing that 2 jersey today. Matthews, pull up deep mid-range jumper, gets the shooter's roll. That one falls through.
Shooter's bounce, lucky roll, up and in.
And here we go, Jason. We're now joined by the coach, Bill Harmon, as he approaches here. 4-2. As we welcome in Bill Harmon, coach, as we're halfway into quarter number one. Here's a drive for Gatson, and that's going to be a lower the shoulder, and he'll get called for the charge. So, Coach, we got a 4-2 ball game. We appreciate you hustling over here to join us. I know you got practice.
I just don't want to get towed out there. I parked on the side of the building. We'll hope.
There's a lot of parking on the side of the building for this one. As we are 4-2, 4 minutes in to quarter number one. It's Howard and William Penn. DeShields freed up in the corner. That three, he won't go. Rebound to Gatson, and now here come the Colonials in transition. Jaden Guy, the floater inside, falls through, and 6-2 quickly. Jaden Guy's got 4 of the William Penn points. Coach, he had 14 in the first quarter against Louisiana last time I had a chance to check him out.
Well, William Penn is going to want to push the ball anytime they can in transition before that Howard defense can get itself aligned. You'll look for penetrations off transition, off long passes, and then once they get into their half-court sets, something that Coach Lumpkin really likes to do is penetrate off the dribble, split and kick, also get it to players underneath the basket.
You mentioned Gary Lumpkin. He leads the way for the Colonials today. Rayshawn Matthews, the head coach for Howard. Here's Johnson, going to lower, get inside, and use that power to get up 2 more. And Marcus Johnson on the board here for Howard.
Johnson, a big frame player, very skilled. Nice job there working to his left hand to complete that play on the inside.
3:09 and ticking, 6-4 in favor of William Penn. There's Jaden Guy again, hanging and able to finish with that left hand.
Guy, a senior, has good size for a wing guard. Does a nice job of penetrating, holding the ball off away from the defense.
Here's R.J. Matthews trying to answer it, dribbles off his foot, and now here come the Colonials in transition. 4-on-2, sample, pull up 3, rolls off the rim. And now quickly Howard wanted to get it and go, but R.J. now looking on that far sideline, they'll turn it over.
Sample is a really good pull-up shooter off the dribble. Sometimes he'll get it there in transition, but that's a favorite spot of his from the top of the key.
Again, thanks for joining us here on Delaware Live Sports. Simulcast here on Channel 28. Nick Alessandrini alongside the coach Bill Harmon. Jason McCall producing for us here on the left. He thought he was just going to check out some basketball, but he's getting thrown right into the fire here in game number 1. Gadsden going to try to put it on the floor. Active hands from Howard. Vom comes up with it. First chance won't go, and the second chance into the hands now of DeShields. He'll lead the break for the Wildcats, and now they'll reset it up top to R.J. Matthews.
Well, Matthews, as he is in football, the quarterback loves to run the offense from the top of the key.
Anticipation that time from the senior. Jaden Guy pokes it away. We'll stay down here with Howard. 2:08 to go here in the opening quarter. An 8-4 lead for the Wildcats.
As a passer into the post, you need to be able to throw the wraparound pass. The defense was underneath Johnson that time. The pass came from the baseline side, easily knocked out of bounds.
RJ gets it back after the inbound. Scoop couldn't score. Tipped around. Corey Mitchell now has it for the Colonials here. Under 2 to go. He'll bring it across half court for Penn.
Howard's going to play this man-to-man. They all have some issues with the ball screen when Johnson is involved in it, so look for William Penn to use that. That time it was a rejected ball screen.
And how about Guy, one-on-one, able to split the defense and float that one up and in. He continues his stellar first quarter. He's got 8 of the William Penn 10. And again, he seems to be that spark that gets them going early. In the game we did last week against Louisiana, 14 first quarter points for the senior point guard, and today a great start. He's got 8.
Guy's got terrific body control. Right now he's able to get anywhere he wants on the court. Howard's going to have to do a better job of helping out on him.
DeShields try to go baseline as he gets it back up top to Matthews. Good defense. He'll thread the needle on the baseline. Trying to get it underneath to Tyler Scruggs, the senior, but he stepped out of bounds.
Scruggs was trying to come across on a baseline backdoor, but got his left foot out of bounds. A nice call there by Mike DiMuzio.
Under a minute and a half to play in quarter number 1 here at Howard School of Technology. 2 top 10 teams going at it here. Howard ranked number 2, William Penn at number 10. A tough loss for William Penn against Middletown last week, and a great help defense to come over and steal this one away. Matthews gets around Gadsden, steps inside, too strong off the glass. Guy the rebounder now, a little quarterback throw up ahead. And it's going to result in a turnover right back. Wildcat with numbers, give and go, back to Richards. Powell, some contact, and he'll head to the free throw line as we finally have a whistle. So 2 free throws upcoming for Xavier Richards Powell, courtesy of R.J. Matthews.
That was a great example of how a bad turnover can turn into at least a basket attempt at the other end. The ball went underneath, was tried to save it deep. Unfortunately, there was no William Penn player there. Matthews did a great job of seating the ball down in the corner and giving up his shot to get the cutter, who was eventually fouled, and which was Richards Powell.
First free throw was up and through for the 6'3 senior. Again, along to go with his brother Aiden Richards Powell. Both of them 6'3", both of them seniors, both of them in the starting lineup. And now one more on the way, this time for Xavier. 1 of 2 from the line. And quickly the Colonials going to get it and go as they work it around the perimeter, but Guy will settle things down. Mitchell, they'll work it around the perimeter, back inside, and that's going to be able to be finished off by Jari Coles. The 6'2 junior finds his first field goal.
Terrific movement away from the ball by William Penn, and Ellen McCoy did a great job there of finding the cutter and distributing the ball in perfect position to lay it up. That was the best possession of the game for William Penn.
There's the trap and the steal in transition. Mitchell couldn't finish. Coles couldn't get the second chance to go, and now bodies are going to hit the floor as we have a loose ball on that end of the floor. And I believe a jump ball, a tie-up's going to keep it down this end with the Colonials. They'll have 11.7 seconds to work with here as we wind down quarter number 1, and now some subs.
Typically underneath, out of bounds. Howard will play man-to-man with a man on the ball. Look for some off-the-ball screening action by William Penn.
They get it in. That's going to be a 3 for McCoy. Too long. Falls into the hands of another Colonial. That was Michael Wilmore. He couldn't finish either. DeShields leaking up ahead of the pack. Shot blocked from behind, but not without some contact. McCoy thought he got it clearly, but the body coming to the back of DeShields, and now free throws coming for Howard here with 1.8 to go.
And there's the issue when you shoot the ball too early in the wind down of the clock of a quarter. The ball should be shot with at least or no more than 4 seconds, Nick. That shot was taken with 6.5, allowed William Penn the miss, and then Howard the great push down the court to get an opportunity to close this game up.
So first one off the mark for DeShields. Second one up and through. So 2 of 4 from the free throw line here early on for Howard. And now a second for Penn. It'll be off at the buzzer for Campbell, and he almost banked it in. But that'll take us to the end of quarter number 1, 12-6. William Penn comes on the road. They lead Howard after a quarter of play. We'll be right back with second quarter action right here on Delaware Live Sports and DETV.
As soon as I got here, I just felt the warm embrace of the community, man. Like, what y'all got going on is wonderful. And no wonder y'all called the work group, because y'all putting that work in. For real, seriously, y'all getting the work done.
We are committed to creating the best Riverside we can with the community, for the community.
Still searching for cheap gas prices? Dump the pump and ride DART. You can DART to your destination for only $4 all day. Let DART do the driving while you enjoy our free Wi-Fi available on all buses statewide. While scrolling through your favorite apps, don't forget to download DART's free transit app for real-time bus information and enjoy the convenience of contactless fare payment through DART Pass. So what are you waiting for? Dump the pump and try transit. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
And we are back live here on Delaware Live Sports, DETV Channel 28, local Xfinity is. We've got some high school hoops for you on a Tuesday evening. It's Howard and William Penn, both coming off of losses, which is rare for both programs. And William Penn here with a 6-point lead on the road. A nice pump fake up top, he unable to finish, but took some contact. That time was Bryson Lane, the talented freshman. And now he'll head to the charity stripe for a pair.
Rashawn Matthews runs a set play out of the quarter break. They run a little shuffle cut, and then the ball ends up back in Lane's hands at the top of the key. Excellent utilization of the shot fake and then driving with his right hand down the lane to get to the free throw line. A good-looking freshman.
First free throw for Lane rolls in for him, so he'll have another one now. Three of 5 from the line as a team for Howard, and they'll knock down both that time. So 12-8, William Penn out in front here. First half action.
Howard's going to switch to a 2-3 zone here to try to slow down these penetrations by William Penn.
So Corey Mitchell as well as Michael Wilmore up into the game in the backcourt for William Penn. As now it's going to be a turnover most likely, is some confusion on the faces of the Colonials. Try to get it back to the hands of Mahari Campbell. Just a backcourt violation there, Coach.
Well, there may have been a little confusion in how they wanted to attack that zone. The ball gets reversed and then actually to no one. You're better off getting into some gaps, doing some back screening, and then looking for your penetrations.
Richards Powell knocks it home from the corner. First 3-ball of the evening today, and that's his spot, Coach. We've seen him a few times here. He loves to let him fly from the corner.
Xavier Richards Powell did a really nice job of being shot ready on the catch, rises up into a beautiful high-arcing jump shot from the deep left corner.
12-11, we got a good one. Skip pass, cross court now as the Colonials working around the perimeter. They want to answer with the 3 of their own. That one not good off the hands of Ela McCoy. And now here comes the Shields leading the break for the Wildcats.
William Penn playing their typical man-to-man. Not a lot of help, but they apply great ball pressure. What Howard needs to do is get some cutting and some filling and maybe even some screening versus this.
Herring tried to split the defense, did it successfully. Now to Richards Powell in the corner. William Penn trying to trap. They move it around the perimeter now. And this is just going to be a deep Herring 3. Long rebound to the Colonials. And then don't blink, leaking up ahead is Campbell. Couldn't finish, that shot blocked. A nice crowd here for this one at Howard.
Howard now is going to attack with a high ball screen and a really nice double team, which is something Gary Lumpkin and his staff work very hard on. They're going to be aggressive in any sort of ball screening action.
Timeout on the floor as Corey Herring was trapped outside the three-point line. So Coach Matthews going to take a timeout, settle things down here, and speak to his team as they've, again, gone on a little bit of a run here, 12-11. The deficit now cut back to 1. We talked about the success of both of these teams, Coach. William Penn 8-4 on the year. Howard 8-2, and only the 6 losses for these two teams, but all coming to top-notch programs. You take a look at William Penn. They're able to gut out a win over Salesianum at home. Then they lose a tough one. They have a couple ones to St. George's, and then they play a very tough number 1 ranked team in Middletown their last time out and gave them a good game as well.
Well, this is a team that I know Coach Lumpkin feels he can take any place he wants. He's played a very difficult schedule early on. One of their other losses was to Tower Hill. You mentioned Apo by 1. So this is a really battle-tested team that I think is only going to get better as the season goes along. They're going to benefit from that early, difficult schedule.
Great passing in the half court there by Howard. Richards Powell couldn't finish it underneath. It's going to lead to a Herring 3. That one off the mark, and now here comes Jaden Guy. Crosses over. Nice pass to the corner. They'll work it around. Pass up on a few 3 balls. Get it back to Guy underneath, who makes the extra pass, and that's going to be finished off by Emmanuel Vaughan.
It's a second really nice find by Ellen McCoy, the point guard. Did a really nice job there of keeping a vision, looking through the zone, and finds his teammate on the far block.
Herring, 3rd time's a charm for number 1. Not this time, though. As the rebound once again into the hands of Guy, who will lead William Penn across half court. Now a whistle will slow things down. This one going to go against Howard, as now we'll have some subs coming in. It's going to be Johnson, Matthews, as well as Jamal Johnson. The first look at him.
Well, Coach Matthews will go to his bench. He'll go to it often, and sometimes he has mass substitutions. Occasionally it's where he's upset with the way the team's playing, or other times he just wants to get fresh troops in to battle this tough William Penn team.
Howard again in that zone, as you mentioned, trying to shoot out of it through the Colonials, and that's a way to do it. Kai Gatson buries the triple from the right wing.
There was some really nice interior screening action to get Gatson the ball free on that right side deep corner.
Matthews going to try to answer, elevates, mid-range jumper from the free throw line's no good. Gatson blocks the second chance underneath. DeShields, though, will corral it, try to get inside, float it up, took some contact, and earns himself a trip to the line.
DeShields very quick with the ball. An excellent spin move to get into the lane. We've talked in the past about how often that is now being called a travel. I thought it was actually a good move. But what's amazing to me is how many times players get the ball underneath, rush the shot, get it blocked from behind because they haven't located the defense and are not using shot fakes.
So a pair coming up for DeShields. He sinks the first. his second free throw of the evening. He's 2 of 3 from the line, one more on the way for the junior.
DeShields a very talented player. I like his ball handling ability. He looks for the shot. He has not forced his action other than on his penetrations. And as a defender, when you get a driver like DeShields, you really would just want to try to level him off and don't foul a penetrator, especially when he's a little out of control.
Nice crossover, the floater to finish it off, and a heck of a play that time from Michael Wilmore.
Well, DeShields went for a back tap at the top of the zone, and when you do that, you leave your team vulnerable to any sort of penetrations, and a good finish by William Penn in the middle of the lane.
Halfway through quarter number 2. 19-12 in favor of the visiting Colonials. Give and go, trying to get a cutting Jameer DeShields. Good hands inside from William Penn as they'll deflect it out of play with 3:53.
Howard's using a 5-out concept where they'll use pass, cut, fill, and they'll pass and screen away occasionally.
Matthews gets it back. Nice no-look feed to DeShields, who couldn't finish. Good contest underneath by Jaden Guy and Michael Wilmore.
I like the unselfishness of Rashawn Matthews, the coach's son. Did a really nice job of drawing the defense to him and then dropping the ball off to the weak side.
Guy able to beat DeShields. Can he finish? He does. How about that one fading away from the basket, going left, finishes with the right hand. And Jaden Guy's got himself a double-digit first half.
That was John Stockton-esque on that. A really nice maneuverability as he penetrated, and good creativity with the finish.
21-12 now lead for William Penn. That's the largest here to this point this evening. Approaching the 3-minute mark now. Here's DeShields in the corner. Working around the perimeter. Here's Matthews. DeShields one-on-one with Wilmore. Drives inside. Good position by Jaden Guy, who had himself cemented there on the block.
Just love the fact that the William Penn players are well schooled, and on any of these dribble penetrations that we talked about where a player's out of control, you need to step in, be in a guarding position, and take the charge, and that's exactly what Guy did.
Just the second team foul against Howard. 7 for the Colonials here as we tick under 3 minutes to go in half number 1. As Guy will bring it across half court.
Howard back to their usually typical man-to-man defense.
Deep 3 for Vom, who kind of just let that one fly. Rebound, though, back to the Colonials on the offensive glass.
Sometimes those long three-point shots, if they're not accurate, will bounce out. It's really important for rebounders to penetrate into that middle ground and get those 50-50 rebounds, which William Penn was able to secure that time.
McCoy lost it on his way up. Matthews trying to hook that pass inside, looking for Marcus Johnson. That's another turnover for the Wildcats.
Nick, I'm going to start keeping a stat of how many one-handed passes were thrown away. Either thrown out of bounds, not thrown accurately to their teammate, or thrown to a different colored shirt.
We're seeing a lot of them here throughout the season in its entirety here in Delaware. Now we have a whistle off the ball, as it looks like underneath the basket, a Wildcat took a shot there. It looks like Aiden Richards-Powell, a little slow to get up as he has his hands on his knees under the basket. Now the officials are going to get together and talk about it.
My guess, since there was no foul called, it's going to be, are they calling a foul? I was going to say incidental contact.
It looks like they're going to set to inbound underneath. They will, I believe, go against William Penn. It looks like a turnover. So it's going to be Wildcat basketball here with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
William Penn going to use a little 1-3-1 defense or a matchup here of sorts. I think they're back to their man-to-man. Look like they might have started with a little bit of matchup zone.
They'll work it around. Here's Matthews. Gets to the baseline. He'll elevate, put it up there. No good. Gatson with the rebound. He's quickly fouled by what I believe is Nicholas Bayside, the freshman. So that's our first look at Bayside here into the game today for Howard.
It was a good contest by William Penn. As Matthews went to the baseline, you really reduce your productivity when you get that low. It's a really tough shot. There's no background for it. If you can get yourself into the slot where you can use the backboard, you're usually going to shoot a higher percentage. Just a really tough shot by Matthews on that last attempt.
Here's Wilmore. Now we have another whistle and a timeout by head coach Gary Lumpkin. So we'll stay right here with 1:25 to go in half number one. 21-12. William Penn got out to an early lead, now leading by 9. Coach, what have you seen so far here from these two teams since you sat down at the desk?
Well, I've been impressed with the guys' ability to penetrate and really create a lot of opportunities. Some excellent passing by McCoy. They had good movement against the zone, which forced Howard immediately out of it after about 4 different possessions. Offensively, at the other end, I think Howard's just got to be a little bit more circumspect about some of their shot selection. They've been successful when they've driven the ball, haven't gotten too deep, pulled up, and then found shooters. I was also impressed with their freshman, Lane. Did a nice job of attacking in the mid-range. So I think Howard's just got to settle down, get some better shot selection, work the offensive glass, and then defensively, they've got to do a good job of and a better job of defending the movement of William Penn.
Both teams now out of the timeout with 1:25 to go. 7 team fouls for William Penn, 4 for Howard as they get it in to the man of the first half for the Colonials, Jaden Guy. He's got 10 first half points. And as we've seen Penn in the past, they will be patient offensively in the final minute and a half to 2 minutes that we talked about. Nice crossover. McCoy kicks.
Well, William Penn has enough ball handlers on the floor that they can afford to hold the ball. Now, after holding it for that long, that would be a shot that I'm not sure Gary Lumpkin would like, but if you work the offensive glass, you get yourself a second chance opportunity. Howard's got to do a little bit better job of also blocking out at their defensive end.
Wilmore's second field goal. He's got 4 now, lead up to 11 and into double digits for the visiting Colonials. Matthews will kick. He's been quiet tonight. Can he answer? A deep 3 for him. Won't fall. Rebound to Vom. And now William Penn can hold for the final shot.
And clearly they should here with the lead in the ball.
Guy not going to listen, and he's going to get inside and finish it off. His 12th point of the first half. And William Penn looking at their largest lead, 25-12. Can Howard answer here as time is winding down? Nice no-look to Basoff shot blocked for the moment underneath by Wilmore or Guy, but some contact and a whistle.
And a lot of people say, well, he should have taken that shot because it went in. And I would argue, hey, if you shoot it that early, even if it goes in, you're going to give the other team an opportunity to score and cut back into that lead. So to me, you're better off possessing the ball, making sure you take the last shot of, in this case, the half, to preserve that lead.
First free throw for the freshman, up and in. And as you mentioned, Coach, would have maybe kept Howard from scoring themselves. Now a chance to match the bucket from Guy with this free throw from the freshman Basoff. Second one is up and long. We're going to believe a lane violation.
You don't see that called much, but this crew's done a nice job, I think, of calling what's affected the game. That was Mike DiMuzio, the veteran official, did a nice job there of getting into the lane before the release of the ball.
12-point lead, 4 seconds for William Penn. They get it in. It's going to be up at the buzzer. It's long off the glass. And that'll take us to the end of half number 1. A 27-13 lead in favor of visiting William Penn over number 2. Howard, Coach Jaden Guy had 12 first half points. You alluded to him earlier in the broadcast. What did you see from the Colonials in the first half?
Well, they've done a great job of pushing the pace, getting good shots in transition, but when they have settled down, they've run their 5-out series extremely well. They've had a couple ball screens. Very impressed also with Ellen McCoy, his fine passing. He has 2 terrific assists inside, both against the zone. Howard, again, they've just got to get back into their game. They've got to create a little bit more offense out of their defense. They're not getting much out of that. Do a better job on the defensive glass, and their shot selection has to improve here in the second half.
It's going to be a good one. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break here at the half on Delaware Live Sports and simulcast on DETV. When we come back in about 10 minutes, we'll have the second half action for you. Get your first half stats and everything you need to know ahead of the third quarter. William Penn leading Howard 25-13. We'll be right back.
Still searching for cheap gas prices? Dump the pump and ride Dart. You can dart to your destination for only $4 all day. Let DART do the driving while you enjoy our free Wi-Fi available on all buses statewide. While scrolling through your favorite apps, don't forget to download DART's free transit app for real-time bus information and enjoy the convenience of contactless fare payment through DART Pass. So what are you waiting for? Dump the pump and try transit. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Our next guest this morning is Miss Destiny Ricard Davenport, owner of Destiny's Way Logistics, a Black female-owned dispatch training company. Welcome to the Plaza, Destiny. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Okay, let's dig. In the words of Vincenza, let's jump right on in.
Okay, sounds good.
Waste no time.
All right.
Who's Destiny?
So I am Destiny, the owner of Destiny Way Logistics, based out of Wilmington, Delaware. And I started the company back in 2018 when my husband decided to switch gears to go from a chef to a professional truck driver.
Okay.
So at the time I was working in banking and I wanted to pretty much follow his lead and see where I could just come into the transportation industry myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across independent freight dispatching. So from there I did a lot of research about the industry. I pretty much self-taught myself how to dispatch trucks. And then I launched Destiny Way Logistics, where we partner with independent company owners and fleet owners that own their own trucks that need assistance with finding work for their trucks.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So from there, I've been able to grow my company to have over 30 independent dispatcher agents that I train and allow them to work alongside me to help dispatch these trucks for our clients. And now I also have an online academy where I pretty much teach people how to start their own independent freight dispatching businesses as well.
So you go from banking to now teaching people how to just wait a minute. You go from banking.
Right.
Your husband changes his position, and then you follow the be with your husband. You learn the dispatch company, and then now you're teaching people how to fish.
Yes, pretty much. In a nutshell.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
Wow, how you like it?
I love it. I get to work from anywhere. I get to make my own schedule. I get to meet new people from all over the U.S. I even have a team that's based out of Serbia. So I literally get to meet all kinds of people. And I get to do this at my own time. So I enjoy it, every second of it. And I get to make money.
Let's not forget that part.
And
Very
it's uncapped.
Right.
Yes,
Destiny, are you from Delaware?
I am not. I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay. What part? I gotta ask. What part?
I'm from North Philly.
Okay. All right. North Philly, stand up.
Yes.
So, what are you living in Delaware? Or
Yes.
Okay. So, what brought you to Delaware? Yes.
Yes. So, long story. My husband and I, we had a long distance relationship. I was in Alexandria, Virginia, and he was still living in Philadelphia. And we both wanted to be closer to family, but not too far.
Right.
So Delaware was the perfect place for us.
Delaware is
welcome.
Thank
The
you.
transplants. Right. All right, in that case, we're gonna change the whole context of this interview. So we're gonna talk Philly way, all right? That's what it is.
Okay.
So what you got right now is this John, right? And no, I'm just messing. But you love what you're doing,
I do.
and you're teaching
Yes.
people to do the same.
Yes, I do. So pretty much what I do is I put out different flyers and things like that for people who want to start their own home-based businesses.
Okay.
And, just be able to do exactly what it is that I do. So I've gathered my past few years of experience in learning the industry into a self-paced online course where people can go on and purchase the course and just train at their own pace, or they can join my Professional Dispatcher Academy program, where that's also live training. We train for 5 days, and then after that, they get a chance to actually work for my company as independent dispatcher agents.
Girl, I ain't even mad at you.
Wow. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
That is incredible what you're doing, but is it?
She took it online.
I know, but you're offering education.
Yes.
So not only offering job opportunities, education to go with it, to be just an incredible worker.
And entrepreneurship.
And entrepreneurship, yes.
Absolutely.
What inspired you to do all this?
Just me Honestly, just being a mother. I had my oldest daughter at the age of 21, and being able to be home with her, being able to work when I want to, being able to take her to school, doctor's appointments, and not having to call out or answer to anyone. So that was pretty much my motivation.
They say entrepreneurs work for freedom.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
there's nothing like it, right?
It's nothing like it.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, so you have, what we saw was what you came up with, 3 steps of success as a dispatcher.
3 steps of success for you said for a dispatcher?
Yeah, for a dispatcher.
Okay, 3 steps of success. Just gaining as much knowledge as you possibly can, just learning the industry, learning, I always tell students, never stop learning, even when you're on your path to greatness. Continue to educate yourself. Being self-motivated and organized.
Yes.
Because it's one of them things where, if you're not organized, it could drive you insane, and we don't want that.
No.
So yes.
What has been one of your, and we're just talking about entrepreneurship, right?
Absolutely.
Because we're all entrepreneurs here. What are your pain points and how you overcame it?
One of my pain points is marketing, staying consistent with marketing. And that was one of my biggest pain points, but how I overcame it was just getting comfortable with being myself and allowing people to see me. And what I've learned when it comes to marketing is I'm not marketing to sell the business, I'm marketing myself. And when people love me and they like me and I'm likable, they want to learn more about what I do, and that's what gets them into buying into the product or service.
Was it hard for you? I'm sorry, Vincenzo.
No, please. I'm learning. I
sorry.
love this. This is also it's inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As you know, we're all entrepreneurs here, and it's inspiring to hear someone else's story because it's also helpful.
Yeah.
Because we all get to a point
Yeah.
as we're climbing the ladder of success that we hit a brick wall,
Or a ceiling of some sort.
something, and we're stuck or we can't figure it out, and it happens. It's very normal, and if you have a small business or as you continue to grow up the ladder of success, and it's helpful to hear the story. So I'm excited.
Okay.
So please
All right.
take over.
So in a male-dominant industry, trucking, was it hard for you as a woman and or a woman of color to come into this landscape?
Yes, absolutely. When I started back in 2018, there weren't a lot of dispatchers out there. Right. So me jumping right in head first and teaching myself the business, I did get a lot of pushback because people had to trust me, especially the men. Most of my clientele are men. So they hear my little voice, and I used to be timid. They hear me and they're like, what? Like, no, I don't want to work with you. So I had to kind of like grow thick skin and show them that I know what it is that I'm talking about. I know what it is that my company can bring to the table and how we can add value to your company. And that's where I started to gain like the respect in the industry.
And I'm sure it wasn't easy.
It wasn't.
I know.
That's why I asked,
I'm in a male-dominant industry. I'm a restaurateur. I own a restaurant.
Wow.
I'm third-generation restaurateur. And
Italian restaurant at that.
Yes. And I understand what it is to be in a male-dominant industry and how hard it is.
Oh, yes.
And how to, to have a conversation with someone and, you want them to take you seriously, but sometimes you feel that they're not listening.
Yes.
Wow.
So you have to be a little bit more assertive.
Yes.
A little more persistent.
Absolutely.
But you have proven that.
Yes.
And that's what I love about your story.
Thank
and
you.
I love what you're doing. And I'm so grateful that you're here on Good Morning Wilmington to share with our viewers about what you're doing. Yeah. So now, tell our viewers, how can they follow or how can they be a part of the company or if they want to join? I'm sure you're always looking for workers, right? Or students to educate.
Yes, absolutely. So the first step will probably be, or the easiest way to follow us would probably be on Instagram at Destiny Way Logistics LLC, or our website, which is no www. But it's destinywaylogistics.com.
Okay.
And we are back here live. Third quarter action underway here on Delaware Live Sports. Nick Alessandrini alongside Bill Harmon. Jason McCall with us as well. Nick Halliday up on top on the camera. 25-13 lead at the half in favor of William Penn, but Howard going to get a quick turnover. Now they'll feed Johnson inside, and he has it picked and stolen by Gatson, who tried to get it up to Vom, who was a little bit ahead of the pack, just too far out in front, Coach.
A little too fast, playing a little out of control. A one-handed pass was ineffective. Both teams open up the half by trying to post up. Vom for William Penn and Johnson for Howard, and both were taken away with some bad ball handling.
Jaden Guy has a game-high 10 points in the first half for William Penn. Marcus Johnson, though, going to get to work on the block in the postgame, and he's got 2 to open up the half for Howard.
I like Johnson. He's very skilled, uses his left hand well, and uses that big frame to his advantage, forcing himself in at the correct angle.
Lead now to 10. Here's a 3 for Wilmore, and he knocks it down.
Boy, that was excellent ball movement. Michael Wilmore was in the left corner. His helper was off on the ball reversal, and he's wide open with a beautiful high arcing shot.
They went back to Johnson on the baseline. Now they'll get it back out up top and work it around to Shields. A little hesitation. Has some room there on the baseline. Has it, I believe, poked out from behind. And they'll stay down that end.
So Shields has an excellent first step. He's been able to drive and penetrate. A couple times he's been out of control, and that time the ball was back tapped from him.
Jalen Sample is still looking for his first bucket today for William Penn. Matthews will inbound. He'll get it back, right back to Johnson. Shot blocked, though, by Jaden Guy, who made it look easy. Then goes around the back on Matthews. He's leading this little break here for William Penn. Nobody comes. The floater goes up and through, and that could be a top 10 play nominee. Defense to offense for Jaden Guy.
Very impressed with the pace and the tempo that Jaden Guy plays with. Never out of control. Shot selection is excellent. Gets to his spots.
Matthews forces one up, but able to get the miss and put it back up and in. So the effort there paying off for R.J. Matthews.
Matthews is tough. He hangs around the ball. He's always looking to be pesky. Did a nice job there of rebounding his own miss and finishing.
That one, I believe, poked out from behind. So we'll stay here with the Colonials. 5:52 to go here in the third. And the lead to 13 for William Penn. A chance to add on here.
I'm still looking for that call at times to be called a foul, because when you back tap, many times you catch the back of the hand and not the ball first.
Loose ball goes into the hands of Wilmore, who can't knock it down. Matthews hauls it in, and now Howard trying to get out and run here. Pull up 3 for Richards. Powell rolls out.
Well, it was a good look by Rashawn Matthews, who's very unselfish, as I mentioned earlier on the show. He will have long outlets. He will drive and pass. I've really been impressed with his ball handling and his passing ability.
There's another poke away, Coach. How about the adjustment in the air? Guy able to get a hand on it, but Xavier Richards Powell adjusts and finish with the opposite hand.
Well, what a terrific finish. Good elevation, good body control, an outstanding play there with good defense being applied as the ball was penetrated to the basket.
Here's Sample. Can he get going? Feeds Vom inside. A nice pass. Lost it for a second. Nice pass again. This time from Vom to a cutting Michael Wilmore. And William Penn continues to click offensively. Wilmore's got 5 here to open up the third quarter and a timeout on the floor.
I've been impressed with Vom's play throughout. Saw him last year. He plays at a nice tempo. He's got excellent hands, works hard for position, and really understands what he needs to do to help his team be successful.
So a quick timeout here on the floor between William Penn and Howard. Howard, your second-ranked team last week. They fall to 5 this week after the loss, but still a top 5 team. William Penn was at number 10 before they lost to Middletown, so not a lot of shuffling there. The top team in the state in Middletown. That was a close game last week, over the weekend, I should say. And now these two teams meeting here at Howard School of Technology. And William Penn has been so good at home this year, but now taking that same intensity we see in Newcastle and bringing it on the road.
Well, this Howard team, under the guidance of head coach Rashawn Matthews, really likes to play a difficult schedule as well. They are talented, they are athletic, and they play very well together.
So ball going to be in the hands of Matthews to start this possession, as Howard trailing by 13, just 19 points through 2.5 quarters for the Wildcats. Very uncharacteristic. DeShields will kick it back up top. And that's going to be another turnover as it's hustled down by Aiden Richards-Powell for a backcourt violation.
When you penetrate too deep, whether it be against man or zone, and then throw a quick pass back over your shoulder, there's a very good chance that your teammate has sunk with you. But if you take the ball into bad positions, you are not going to give yourself a lot of opportunities for good passing lanes.
DeShields once again pokes it out from the behind of Jaden Guy. Coast to coast for him, can't finish due to Emmanuel Vom getting back in transition defensively, but Vom, I believe, got a piece of him. So a shooting foul as DeShields will head to the line, and Coach, he's got that around the back move, to be able to get a few times or a few steals that way today for DeShields.
So as a player, when you confront a player that likes to back tap, what you've got to do is, as you go by him, you anticipate the fact that he's going to do it. You cover it up with your body. That means as you cross over, the ball is pushed in front of your body. Now that player has no opportunity to get the ball. He might hit you, which in theory results in a foul, but more importantly, now you've created a 5-on-4 situation. So part of that scouting, part of that's in-game adjustment. Okay, this is what the player's doing now to try to create some offense out of their defense. You've got to be able to adjust.
Howard gets the steal on the inbound. Another quick whistle here as William Penn got a hand on him inside. This one might go against Gatson. We'll see. And it will, his second. And Howard will inbound here underneath the basket.
Howard needs a little bit more activity on offense. They need to screen. They need to move without the ball.
And there it is, Coach. Off of the screen, R.J. Matthews knocks home the triple from the corner. So the side pocket three makes this an 8-point game, and that's what they needed, a little run here for the Wildcats.
And the key was the big man, Marcus Johnson, with a pin-down screen and a quick ball reversal to Matthews in the far right corner. If Matthews gets his range and his rhythm, he can be very difficult. He's a good ball handler. He penetrates, sets up teammates, as we talked about, but he also can knock down the three, especially when he gets in rhythm.
Coach Gary Lumpkin trying to fire his team up there in the huddle as they break and head back out onto the floor. 4:07 to go here, third quarter action. Thanks for joining us again on Tuesday evening here on Delaware Live Sports, as well as Channel 28 on your Xfinity cable box. Nick Alessandrini, the coach Bill Harmon, and Jason McCall to my left. Nick Halliday up on the camera. And we'll be back tomorrow with the Middletown Buffalo Wild Wings for Delaware Live Weekly. Make sure to join us out there, some special guests, but now some pressure here, Coach, in the backcourt from Howard.
Little 1-2-2, three-quarter court press. William Penn wants to be organized against it, reverse the ball a few times, but there they throw a careless cross-court pass. So this defense of Howard right now is beginning to allow them to get back into the game.
Under 4 to go now in the third, 32-28. A 5-0 run here for Howard, and they've got possession. Johnson wants the straightaway three and knocks it down.
Boy, the lefty has a really good feel for the game. That was a pick and pop. Matthews uses the screen. Johnson pops back into position.
They're able to get the steal. Matthews able to finish down the other end, and out of the timeout, the crowd is roaring, and Howard on a 10-0 run.
And it's the defense of Howard that's really created this scenario for them. William Penn has gotten sped up. They've been very careless with the ball, not organized.
Gadsden wants to answer. His three is long, and now Matthews hauls in the rebound and a chance to add on to the run. Here for Howard, a chance to tie.
And probably not the shot you want to get when you're struggling against pressure. You need to drive the ball and try to get to the free throw line or get an easy basket.
Here's Marcus Johnson back to R.J. Matthews. He'll call for the screen. Now feed the big fella on the block. Here's Richards-Powell on the baseline. Finger rolls up and in.
The key was Johnson penetrating, drawing the help along the baseline. The skip through to the backside. There wasn't a defender that had dropped down, and then the penetration off of that results in the basket. Really nice movement of the ball by Howard.
12-0 run for the Wildcats. They cut it to 1, 32-31. William Penn trying to answer. Corey Mitchell's mid-range shot rolls out. Tipped around into the hands of DeShields, and now we have a whistle and a foul. They're going to get Marcus Johnson on a loose ball, as I believe he pushed the Colonial. Maybe it was Wilmore from the behind.
I like Johnson. He is a big man, but he's mobile. He has excellent skill. He knocks down the three. He's a good passer, and we've seen him be able to finish inside offensively with good skill and toughness.
Guy back up top. They'll work it around the perimeter here.
Howard into zone here, which they played in the first half. It was not as successful, and there's a nice skip pass.
McCoy wants three. That one was halfway down and falls out.
But that's the right way to attack it. You need to be able to reverse the ball either by the point.
As Jameer DeShields creating his own shot, a little step back jumper, and now the first lead of the ball game to Howard, and the run continues, Coach. Wildcats lead 33-32.
Well, this run has been highlighted by DeShields' defense with a couple of back taps. Some really nice long-range shooting by Matthews and Johnson, and just a will of Howard to get back into this game via their defense.
And you can hear the Howard chants here in the gym. What a crowd here supporting their Wildcats. As the Colonials again had a big lead, leading 32-19. And then Howard storming back here in the second half of the third quarter and have taken their first lead. They lead 33-32. Jaden Guy led the way for William Penn in the first half with 10. He's got 12. RJ Matthews, he's got 7 second half points. Marcus Johnson has 5. And Xavier Richards-Powell has 4 to go along with DeShields 4. So getting contributions from up and down the roster here for Howard in the second half.
So Coach Lumpkin sensed that his team was in trouble. He took the timeout when they were up 8, and now when they go down, he's had to call his second timeout of this half to try to get his team calmed down, get them to play better offense, but also just take care of the ball in the full court and the half court scenarios facing this Howard pressure.
And again, no Jalen Sample out of the timeout for William Penn. He's been held scoreless here in this one for the Colonials. Here's that backcourt pressure here from Howard. William Penn trying to beat it. Going to have to get it past half court. They do. With 1:36 and ticking. Mitchell to Guy, a little hesitation, gets inside, makes the extra pass. That three is buried, and maybe the biggest shot so far for William Penn. Michael Wilmore knocks down the three.
The play was made by Guy as he penetrated, he drew the help, kicks it to the corner. It was a shot he might have been able to take himself, but he really set up his teammate making the extra pass.
Michael Wilmore, 8 points in this third quarter, a heck of a quarter for the senior. DeShields to answer, elevates, floats it up, and knocks it down. DeShields taking some contact and once again finding his own shot.
DeShields' excellent ball handling has enabled him to get into places where nobody else can. Does a good job of rising up into that mid-range jump shot.
35-35. Another kick to the corner. McCoy this time wants 3. That one rolls in and out.
You pass up a 3-foot shot for another 3 from the corner, albeit he was wide open, went down and in, but sometimes I like the penetration and try to score yourself.
35 seconds and ticking as we wind down the third here at Howard. DeShields up top, one-on-one with Jaden Guy. As could be a 5-second, able to get it to the baseline. Richards-Powell, one more inside to Marcus Johnson, count it, and 1.
Well, I think Howard got away with a 5-second call out on the perimeter, but good penetration along the baseline as the help rotated. Johnson comes across and makes himself available and is able to finish.
What a play and what a quarter for the Howard Wildcats. As now Johnson a chance to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. And the free throw is long and won't fall. 37-35, 15 seconds for the Colonials to work with here in the third. Drive, bounce pass to Vaughn, but he couldn't handle it.
Well, it was the perfect play. He covered up, the back tap happened. They had 5-on-4. He pulled up in the mid-range. He threw a beautiful pocket pass. Just, unfortunately, Vaughn could not handle it.
2 seconds, and there's a quick travel. William Penn was looking for it. They'll get it there. And now the Colonials will have 2 seconds to fire something up here as they're now trailing by 2, 37-35. And they'll launch one up. It'll hit a wire here above the backboard, and that'll do it for quarter number 3. And what a quarter it was for the Wildcats. They storm back after being down double digits, and now they have a 2-point lead, 37-35 as we head to the fourth.
Defense keys it to DeShields being able to get wherever he wants on the court, and a couple of very successful defensive plays, albeit it's questionable defense, but the back tap is working. William Penn has to adjust. Coach Lumpkin was out talking with one of the officials about the 5-second call, exactly what you and I were discussing. The official said that he had created enough space. Coach Lumpkin, I think, would like to see the replay on that. But his team's got to be a little bit more organized against the pressure. They've got to be able to take care of the ball. They've done a nice job recently of penetrating and getting good looks, which one was passed up for a missed three in the corner, and the last one on some excellent penetration and just a mishandled ball that would have resulted in a basket. Howard's emotion and their defense has been the difference here in the second half.
A 18-5 run to close out the third quarter has Howard up by 2 as we're moments away from getting into the fourth. And now we'll bring in Jason McCall. Jason, how's it feel? We got you out here for some high school basketball. How's your first dose of checking out this one here at Howard?
Man, that third quarter was amazing. The crowd got into it. Howard's defense led to a bunch of turnovers and some quick, easy baskets. And looking forward to see how this fourth quarter is going to turn out.
It's going to be a good one, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And we are underway in the fourth, 37-35 in favor of Howard. Richards Powell kick. R.J. Matthews clear look in the corner, but that three falls way short into the hands of Guy. Here he goes, Guy. Nobody going to stop ball. Floater up, hang on the rim, won't finish. Vom, though, with the offensive rebound, finds a cutting teammate who couldn't finish, was Mahari Campbell. And now Vom will let it go a fourth time, and now a whistle as Campbell get called for the foul. Lost my breath there, Coach. But a lot of opportunities for William Penn, just couldn't convert.
Well, Emmanuel Vaughn did a nice job on the offensive glass, just unsuccessful with the mid-range shot. Howard's got to do a little bit better job, as they did not do early in the game, of blocking out on the defensive glass. William Penn trying to get back in it with just some hustle plays, unable to finish inside.
Howard still the 2-point lead. They've got it back here. Step back three for Richards. Powell is way short again. They wanted a foul on the other end.
And at some point, that play should be called a technical. Flops now are supposed to be called by the officials if it's egregious, trying to trick them into making the call.
And now we have a whistle down the other side. This is William Penn. Jaden Guy was going up for it. He'll get fouled. So he'll head to the free throw line here. Howard 8 of 13 from the line. William Penn, as that one goes in for Jaden Guy. Now have not been to the line too often, Coach, as I believe that's just their second made free throw.
Well, Howard's done a pretty good job of defending without fouling. That's because they move their feet well. It's because they get in the way and have good lateral and horizontal movement patterns. But William Penn has to be using some more fakes and some drives to create those foul line opportunities.
2 for 2 from the line for Jaden Guy. He's got 14. And now we're all squared up at 37. DeShields will drive on the baseline. Kick back out to Matthews. He puts the floater up. Rolls off the rim into the hands of Mahari Campbell, who's trying to get down the floor. Could have been called for a traveler double dribble. Instead, it's Emmanuel Vom able to complete the bucket underneath.
Well, I know that's a big sigh of relief from the William Penn bench and from Emmanuel Vaughn to get himself back in the game with a finish inside. He's had some trouble handling the ball and a couple of missed in-close shots, but that was a big basket.
Gives the Colonials the lead back here, 39-37. Scruggs set to check in at the next whistle for the Wildcats. Richards Powell, now to Aiden Richards Powell. Fadeaway mid-range jumper, doesn't fall. Johnson battling two Colonials underneath, and he'll get the benefit of the doubt there with his effort. A foul going against William Penn on the rebound.
Howard goes to their standard three-man weave. That way they get some court reversal and also player movement. And when they do that, it makes William Penn make a decision whether to get over the top of the screening action and the handoffs or to slide through. And eventually, Howard is looking for a dribble attack.
Off of the inbound, Howard down by 2. They get it back into the corner, reverse it to Richards Powell, into Scruggs. His floater with the right hand in the lane won't go. And a big rebound by Vaughn.
When you play off 1 foot in those situations, really hard to reset your body. If you play off 2, now you can get your body under control. You can go up with better balance and also fake.
And that time, Aiden Richards Powell trying to jump the gun and get out there and intercept that pass. Got some contact on Campbell, so he'll get whistled for the foul, his second.
Howard back to man-to-man. I think we'll see more of this unless they get the lead here late in the game. There's the back tap again. At some point, that's going to be a foul.
Trying to do it again there. This time Scruggs steps up with the help defense and got a hand on it, but right back to the Colonials. Trying to thread the needle was Mitchell, and it's intercepted inside.
Mitchell got caught up in the air and threw an errant pass.
One hand pass up ahead to Bryson Lane, and that's going to be a blocking foul. And now the freshman Lane, who buried 2 free throws in his last trip to the line, will have 2 more coming his way.
Well, I was impressed with Lane in his action in the first half. Does a nice job of playing with the right speed, takes good shots. He's a willing passer. That time in transition, got the benefit of the doubt from Mike DiMuzio on the block call.
So 2 free throws upcoming for the freshman. And the first one, nothing but net. He's 3 for 3 from the line.
He's got a terrific stroke. Looks very comfortable and confident at the foul line.
So this one will tie it up if he's able to knock it down. Again, still no sign of Jalen Sample. There he is, just entered the ball game for William Penn. Maybe he's been battling some foul trouble. As 1 of 2 from the line goes Lane. Jalen Sample, the talented senior guard, has been held scoreless here in this one against the Wildcats. Trying to get it to him. They get it to him up top, but only for a second. Picked and stolen, and Richards Powell going to flush it down with 2 hands.
William Penn ran a terrific set, a back pit for Vaughn, and he was wide open underneath. But unfortunately for William Penn, the pass was errant up top, and they did not look inside to the open Vaughn.
40-39, that gives the lead right back to Howard. As racing inside goes Mahari Campbell, and he earns himself 2 free throws to the dismay of head coach Rayshawn Matthews. But William Penn a chance to tie or take the lead here at the line.
Well, Howard's been very fortunate because they continue to try to exploit the back tap maneuver, but that's allowed William Penn to get to wherever they want. And if they can convert on some of these interior shots, they're going to start to take advantage of that questionable defensive strategy.
And the crowd really into it, and that's going to be a missed free throw for Campbell. So 1 more on the line for Mahari Campbell. This one could tie it up. And 0 for 2 from the line. So a wasted
and in a
trip.
close game, Nick, those missed free throws are going to be a huge factor.
1 point ball game as DeShields has it top the perimeter. Dribble handoff to Richards Powell. DeShields off the screen, trying to get him free for a 3. Good defense by William Penn. Here's DeShields out on the left wing. It's going to be a step back, deep 3 for DeShields, shorted off the front end of the rim, and that one will sail out of play. With 4:05 to go, possession back to the Colonials. Now a quick sub here as Campbell will head out. In comes Michael Wilmore.
The Shields control the ball for that entire possession, dribbling around, setting up, and then he takes a very difficult long-range 3 with nobody underneath. Good defense there by William Penn to not allow the Shields to get into a place he wanted to get to.
Under 4 minutes to go, a 1 point ball game. Howard up in front of William Penn as Powell went for the steal, almost had it again. Here's Sample, gets inside, kicks back to Wilmore. They make the extra pass. Great recovery by the Wildcats. But now Sample has a 3 in the corner, and he's finally on the board.
Boy, that was a great find as Sample was wide open over here in the left deep corner. Good passing by William Penn.
Trying to answer, and I believe they do a 3 ball. We had some people walking on the court, so I missed it. But it was a 3 for Howard to return the favor. And that's going to give Howard the lead right back, 43-42. That one off the hands of the freshman Bryson Lane.
What a tough shot. What a poised young player is Lane, who's come in and given them some really good minutes in both halves here. Howard kind of hanging in there with some really fine shooting just when it's called for. And William Penn now starting to get into a little bit more of a rhythm offensively by reversing the ball, driving against that questionable defense up at the top of the key and trying to take advantage of it.
Nick Alessandrini, the coach, Bill Harmon, Jason McCall, Nick Halliday on hand here at Howard School of Technology. A nice 4:45 tip. No complaining from all of us with a 4:45 p.m. tip here. You know, nice little early action for us here on a Tuesday, except for you, Coach, who's got a lot going on after school hours with all the stuff that you're able to do.
Well, it's a shame they play these games. It's got to be very difficult for parents to be able to get out of work and get here, and or other people who are interested in following the game of basketball. But for different reasons, that's why a lot of these games are going, unfortunately, early. But this is a fun environment down here. There's a lot of crowd emotion. Howard has done a nice job over the years of protecting their home court, and it's fun to get to come down here and do a couple games.
Yes, it is, and we're back underway. 3.5 minutes to go. It's a one-point game between two top 10 teams here in the state of Delaware. Howard up by 1 as William Penn will bring it across here. They set it up for Vaughn, but it's stolen by the freshman Bryson Lane, once again making a big play late.
Lane was in the middle of the lane perfectly where he should have been. Does a great job of anticipating that cut.
And no one going to stop Jameer DeShields as he had an open lane right to the cup, and he takes it for 2.
DeShields, a very heady player when he's working off the dribble. He can get to a lot of places on the court. Nice little change of pace there to get down the lane with his left hand.
Trying to answer is Jaden Guy. Some more contact. I believe that's going to be a shooting foul against Johnson. That'll be his 3rd foul. And now 2 free throws coming up for Jaden Guy. We talked about William Penn. They've only been to the free throw line a handful of times, but most of those times have came from number one, Jaden Guy, that point guard.
They're going to need Guy to take over this game offensively for them. He's got to be able to drive and penetrate, draw help, and kick it to open shooters. Marcus Johnson did not do a bad job there of trying to stay vertical, but I just think they caught him with moving his lower body, and his upper body was in perfect position. I like this player. He moves his feet well. He's a big man. He's very tough and actually very skilled.
1 of 2 from the line for Guy. Makes it a 2-point ball game. 45-43 with 2:45 to go. Some pressure here. And that one going to be stolen as Lane tried to thread the needle back to DeShields.
With a shot clock, there's no hurry. You need to be sure you have your teammates in the right position to possess the ball.
Here's Guy going to put it on the floor, and you heard the slap, and you got to count it, and the foul for Jaden Guy, who has taken over when William Penn needed him. And again, that's going to be contact from DeShields, his 2nd foul, and now a chance for 3 points on this possession for the Colonials.
At some point, I have a feeling that Coach Lumpkin and his staff, who have a lot of really good veteran coaches and players over there, have a great feel for the game and say, hey, Jaden, you've got to take this game over. You've got to start making some plays. You may not score yourself, but you've got to be the facilitator. And he's done that in a couple ways. He's been getting to the basket himself, get to the free throw line, but then also be ready to set up your teammates.
Game high 18 points for the senior point guard from William Penn. 10 in the first half, 8 in the second half, and the Colonials lead by 1, 46-45, 2 minutes to play. Matthews gets downhill, tried to go around the back to Johnson, who couldn't save it, and that's going to be a turnover for Howard.
Sometimes the creative pass is not necessarily the best one. In those situations, especially in a tight ball game where every possession is going to be paramount, you need to make sure you throw good passes and play within yourself and don't play too fast.
Now a chance to extend this lead for William Penn. Under 2 minutes to go here in this one.
William Penn going to spread the court with a 5-out look. It's going to force Howard into some one-on-one situations. They're trying to draw help on the drives and find a shooter when they're open.
They're going to trap Sample, and once again almost came up with the steal, and now we're going to have a whistle and a foul against Sample, who got trapped just in front of half court. And Howard has been pretty effective with that trap on the perimeter today.
Howard's been very aggressive. I like it when their defense extends and pressures. They've turned over William Penn a number of times. As a ball handler in a double team, the last thing you want to do is put the ball over your head. That time early on in the trap, the ball went over the head, got him in trouble, gets knocked away, and then created the foul.
So here's a 1-and-1 for Richards. Powell, front end, he misses it. And the rebound to Jaden Guy, so a big missed free throw that time for the Wildcats, who still trail by 1.
Too early for Howard to have to foul here. They should play it out with their aggressive defense and see how William Penn is going to play it themselves.
That's what it looks like. Colonials trying to hold it up top, and then Coach Lumpkin going to call a timeout. So they'll have 1 left after that one. Howard still has 2, and we'll take a or we'll stay right here on the floor at Howard School of Technology. 1:15 to play, a 46-45 game. Coach, it's been a fun one here on Tuesday evening.
A very exciting game. Howard battling back with some really tough defense and some excellent play by DeShields and others, the big man Johnson in particular. William Penn has 1 timeout. They have the arrow. Howard has 2 timeouts, so it's going to be a real chess match between Coach Matthews of Howard and Coach Lumpkin of William Penn as we battle down here in these waning minutes of the game.
Leading scorer, Jaden Guy, he's got a game-high 18, as mentioned. Xavier Richards-Powell, he's got 10. DeShields, he's got 10 as well. R.J. Matthews, he's got 9. And Marcus Johnson has got 9 as well. For William Penn, Michael Wilmore has had a big second half. He's got 8 second-half points for the Colonials. And it's mostly been him and Jaden Guy here in the half number 2. Emmanuel Vaughn been held to just 1 field goal here in the second half.
The next foul against Howard will put William Penn in the 1-on-1, and Howard is already in the 1-on-1.
So free throws could be big in this one as we come down the stretch. As we are back underway with 1:15 to go in a 1-point ball game. It's Vaughn, Wilmore, Sample, Guy, out on the floor for William Penn. Thought about the 3, but will pass on it. It's both Richards-Powell, DeShields, Matthews, and Johnson for Howard. Here comes that trap upside. Sample able to dribble out of it. Lost his footing. Ball almost came loose, and then a whistle. And a foul against R.J. Matthews, who holds his hands up in the air. But he'll get called for the foul, and Howard thought they maybe forced another turnover, but instead lapped some free throws here, I believe, from Jalen Sample, his first trip to the line.
Well, they almost did. But and when you have a loose ball situation, instead of trying to dribble it, you really want to just go possess it, pick it up, especially if you're the team with the lead in the ball. You might get fouled in that situation, but if the ball is extended or being dribbled, there's a great chance for a turnover that Howard almost exploited.
So Sample adds a free throw. Again, only got 1 shot up, I believe. He's 1 for 1 from the floor for 3 points. And his first free throw was up and through, so another one on the way.
And for William Penn to be ahead at this juncture of the game against a very talented Howard team with Sample not scoring a lot really speaks well for William Penn's long-term chances.
1 of 2 from the line for Sample. Still a 2-point ball game. Saved over there on the edge by Howard after the missed free throw. 40 seconds and ticking. Howard down by 2. Matthews got some contact from Sample, who tried to anticipate that pass to DeShields on the left wing. Instead runs right into Sample, and that's probably a foul.
Coach Matthews called a play for his son, which was an elevator play where they dribble chase Matthews through the lane. He stops in the middle, comes up the middle of the lane, and there's a double screen that has the door each player closes in, so Matthews could get the shot at the top of the key, and that resulted in the foul. Well executed under pressure by Howard.
So some big free throws coming up for Howard, as we alluded to here. It's going to be R.J. Matthews, one of the guys you want at the line if you're the Wildcats, and that first free throw was up and in for R.J.
Matthews looks to me like he wants to be at the free throw line in the clutch. A very confident player, terrific football quarterback. I just like his composure and his demeanor on the court.
He's now into double digits. He's got 10 after the first made free throw. A chance to add 1 more. It's a big one, and he does, and we're all tied up at 47. Howard and William Penn, what a game it's been here on the road for the Colonials and at home for the Wildcats. It was a 32-19 ball game in the third quarter in favor of William Penn. An 18-5 run helped Howard get right back in. And here we are with 36 seconds to go in a tie game with 47 apiece. Jaden Guy, of course, leading the way for William Penn. He's got 18, and R.J. Matthews now the leading scorer for Howard with 11.
Well, it's really been a fun contest. 2 very well-matched teams who've played extremely hard. Howard got back in this game with some terrific defense in the second half with their pressure, and unfortunately from William Penn's standpoint, some miscues. But it's been hard play. There's not a lot to necessarily say is different than these 2 teams. They play very similar styles. I do like the fact that Howard has the ability to go inside to Johnson And DeShields has been very instrumental, even though he's not the leading scorer, as Matthews is. I've been really impressed with his play. He's an excellent defender. He can stay in front, but he's got that very deceptive back tap where he lets the player go and he tries to tap it from behind. It's really worked to his advantage here. Let's see if he doesn't try to exploit that move again here late in the game.
Here we go. It's going to be William Penn to inbound. Here comes a little bit of pressure from Howard in a tie game. Notched at 47. They get it into Guy. And William Penn going to take their time here. Going to have to get it past half court, though. They launch it, and that pass is intercepted. Just looked a little bit out of whack there. Did William Penn there. Now Howard going to have the final shot here at home.
And it looks like Coach Matthews is going to let it run down and then take a timeout, which he's done with just about 14 to go.
Here we go, everyone. 47 up, 14 seconds to play. Ball in the hands of the home team. That's Howard here in this one against the Colonials. Two teams in the top 10 here in the state of Delaware. Both teams with 8 wins, but only one going to leave here with win number 9.
The issue with William Penn's zone press attack is they never really drew the double team. They were very slow to maneuver the ball. As you know, you only get 10 seconds to get it over. So at some point you want to invite the trap, reverse the ball out of there, and if you need to re-reverse it, you're going to have a wide open forward in the open court available, or you must look long or put a player in the middle. They didn't do any of that and resulted in the costly cross-court lob pass that was intercepted by Howard. So some excellent defense by Howard, but just not the attack that I know Coach Lumpkin would like to have seen against that pressure.
And Coach, now here you are with the Wildcats. Got 14 seconds, plenty of time there, obviously. You've got Shields has 10, Matthews has 11, Johnson's been effective underneath. Where are you going here for the final shot if you're Coach Matthews in the Wildcats?
What's nice for Coach Matthews is he has a lot of options. I think he should put the ball into Shields' hand, work with a pick and roll up top, and then try to split and kick or split and get to the basket by DeShields or set up his teammate Matthews. So use Johnson, who's a big body, as a screener, attack with DeShields. He's had the ability to get into the lane and then just see what that opens up for them.
Here we go. It's going to be Matthews to do the honors, to inbound with 14 seconds. They
Johnson
get it into
is not in the game.
So here we go, Coach. 10 to go, tie game, and here's Jameer DeShields. Trying to find an opening on the perimeter. 4 seconds to Richards, pound the corner. It's going to be Matthews. Gets it, and it's stolen, and we're going to overtime, and Howard unable to get a shot off in that final possession.
Well, they took Johnson out of the game. Then they tried to run a double screen up high, what we call a highway screen, where you try to drag it from one side to the other and open up for a shooter in the back. William Penn did not switch. They stayed with it. DeShields over-dribbled it. I thought the issue was initially throwing the ball so far back into the backcourt. DeShields was not in a hurry. 4 seconds were removed from the clock before he even got it over half court, so they were just a little late to start their attack.
William Penn locking up defensively there for the final 14 seconds. And how fitting, we're going to overtime. Some free basketball here at Howard School of Technology. That was the way this one was going in the second half. And now 4 minutes to decide the winner, as both teams looking for win number 9. And Coach, it's kind of crazy also to think about. We're almost into playoff time here in terms of winter high school basketball. This winter season has really flown by. We're already almost into February tomorrow.
Well, I think we've got 4 more weeks left in the regular season, or 3.5 weeks. So you're right, it's not that far away. The playoffs end right at the end begin right at the end of February. But there are still a lot of games left to be played. You're going to see those compacted schedules where teams are playing 3, maybe even if there's any inclement weather, 4 times a week, which really gets tough in terms of your preparation and also the players' health and safety, because they're coming and playing back to back to back. St. Andrews played, I believe, 3 games in 4 days over this weekend.
Jason, how you liking this? Some overtime here in your first.
Overtime.
Gotta love that. As we are ready to go, Nick Allison Jr., the coach, Bill Harmon, Jason McCall, Nick Halliday. Jump ball, we're underway in OT between the Colonials and the Wildcats. Howard will control it off the tip. Matthews not going to waste any time. Floats it up there, gets his own rebound after the miss. Second chance is in, and Howard with a quick 2-point lead here till we get overtime.
Well, Matthews did a great job of penetrating. I thought he got bumped on that shot attempt, but he is a really good competitor. Stayed with it, finishes inside on his own.
Gadsden, he'll let it fly. That's a big 3, and he buries it from right in front of us. A huge three to give the Colonials the lead back.
Gatson loves the deep corner. That was a very aggressive closeout by Marcus Johnson, the big man of Howard, but the shot was just too high arcing and not able to be blocked.
50-49 on the seesaw here at Howard. Johnson inside, ball stripped, and now in the hands of Sample. He does not have numbers, but it won't matter as Matthews comes up with the steal. He's going to race down the other end. Wasn't happy with that call. He's got to be a little bit careful there in overtime, but a whistle's going to send Jalen Sample back to the free throw line.
Matthews is very lucky he didn't get a technical there, and that would have been a terrible time. They'd have been shooting free throws, they'd have had a technical free throw shooting, and then William Penn would have had the ball. You've just got to, no matter how bad you think the call was, you've got to maintain emotional control no matter what the situation, but paramount that you do it in these close end games and or overtimes.
Sample buries the first, knocks down the second. 3 of 4 from the line for Sample in this one. And now a 3-point lead back in favor of William Penn as we hit the 3-minute mark.
William Penn continues to play man-to-man. They've got to decide how they want to play that high ball screen when Johnson gets involved.
Matthews calling to hand off to DeShields. A little two-men game from these two. Looking to get it back to Matthews. He does. Now here comes Johnson off the screen, goes Matthews, trying to find somewhere to go. Great defense, and now Matthews, give and go, gets it back, gets inside, no whistle. And we're going to say last touched by William Penn. It's going to stay with Howard, but let them play down there.
Well, Rashawn Matthews did a nice job of reading the screening action. It was a dribble handoff, and then he cut to the basket. There was some contact, but at this point, I think the officials are letting the players play through it unless it's
absolutely
really significant to affect the play.
I couldn't agree more with them there. Richards-Powell gets inside, able to beat his man Gatson off the dribble, and Gatson trying to recover, got a piece of him. So some free throws coming up for the Wildcats.
Been impressed with both the brothers, Richards-Powell, Xavier, and Aiden. Have the capacity to put the ball on the floor with either hand. They're decent in the mid-range, but they have a really good first step that allows them to get an advantage over the defender.
And the free throw no good for Richards-Powell. He's 1 of 3 from the line tonight, but he'll have another one to come. As Tyler Scruggs going to get back into the ball game here for Howard as the second free throw rims in and out. So 0 for 2 from the line, an empty possession for Howard.
Making your free throws, or at least making 1 of 2, really important in the end games.
Jaden Guy, you said he's got to take over, and there he goes. A big field goal in overtime, and William Penn a backup 5 for the first time in a while. But what an answer. A quick pass and finish underneath. Richards-Powell lays it up and in.
Well, no excuse to get beat back after you make a play like that.
And then a whistle. Scruggs tripped up, I believe, was Wilmore as he got past half court. That's going to be a foul. And now some more free throws. You see Coach Matthews putting up the 1-and-1. So a big one coming up here for the Colonials.
What has impressed me is the resilience of Howard. When they've gotten down, they've always had an answer. They've responded quickly. They push the ball. After it's made in the basket, they get it out of bounds, inbounds, get it up the court before William Penn can really get stabilized.
Missed free throw. This time it was Wilmore. And an empty possession for the Colonials now as we tick under 2 minutes. A 1-possession ball game. William Penn up by 3.
Making your free throws in the clutch. So important.
Richards-Powell steps back. That's a tough shot. Short off the front end of the rim. Into the hands of Guy, who just lost his footing. And Scruggs pulls it away. Howard with numbers. Matthews back to Scruggs. And we've got a 1-point ball game. William Penn set to inbound. They get it into Gatson quickly. Cross court, a little bit nervous there for head coach Gary Lumpkin. And now here comes the pressure. Ball is loose. And it's going to be a tie-up. It's going to keep it down this end with William Penn, as you saw Coach Lumpkin calling for the timeout. But no possession and no timeout awarded. And now with a 54-53 game, Colonials will have possession here.
When the ball gets reversed, but you put it in a bad spot, which is up at the top of the timeline and the sideline, it's just inviting a double team, and that's just what happened. You cannot play out of that. What you've got to do is maybe hold the ball out of bounds and hope they knock it out, or try to reverse the ball very quickly, which they could not do, resulted in the jump ball. Good job by Howard.
Able to get it into the Colonials to Jaden Guy. Up ahead now to Sample to work around. Gatson hit the last one. He'll try another three. This one up off the rim and into the hands of the Wildcats. And now Howard with possession, down by 1. Matthews trying to create some separation. Gets inside, takes the contact. +1 for R.J. Matthews, and he'll head to the line.
R.J. Matthews has the uncanny ability to drive down the lane, take contact, and then time his release of his shot. So it's going as he gets bumped, and he's able to play through it immediately and get the ball up and at least give it an opportunity to go in, which he had excellent spin on that shot.
Now some subs. Vom back into the game for William Penn alongside McCoy. And now with the free throw upcoming, Howard up by 1 after the field goal from Matthews. Chance to make it a 2-point game here at the line.
I think William Penn would like to have the ball back without that 3-point shot. At that point, when you have the lead, you're going to be in the double foul situation on the next one. Pull the ball out, work the clock, shorten the game up, and give yourself an opportunity.
Missed free throw for Matthews. Can't complete the 3-point play. We still got a 1-point game this time, though. Howard out in front with 45 seconds to go.
Time, score, and situational basketball is so important in games like this.
They get it to Sample. He's been quiet, close to the half court. Gets inside, stolen by Scruggs, and then a whistle. And we'll walk the floor.
Sample got into a good spot, but instead of playing off 2 feet and slowing down, he was moving, tried a two-handed underhand pass that was easily intercepted. What he should have done was jump stopped on a little bounce pass, and they would have probably had a basket. Unfortunately, again, just getting caught up in the emotion of the game, playing just a little too fast.
So now it's the senior, Tyler Scruggs. He'll head to the free throw line and have a chance to shoot some big ones here with Howard up by 1. Will be a 1-possession game regardless. But we'll see what the Colonials have to do as Scruggs airballs that first free throw. He'll have one more. Now R.J. Matthews will have a word with him here. A big one upcoming now. This would make it a 2-point game. And Coach Lumpkin signaling thought he was a 1-and-1. So another one, though, on the way for Scruggs. The second free throw rolls out. Rebound to Jaden Guy. So an empty possession once again. And now we're going to have a foul. So one official in the backcourt held up a tie-up. The other official called a foul on Jameer DeShields. So now they're going to talk about it, and we'll walk the floor. This way now it's going to stick with a personal foul, a reach-in the backcourt.
And with the lead, the last thing you want to do is foul at 88 feet away from the basket. You want to have an aggressive double team, but when you have a player trapped, you never want to foul in the double team unless you're down and you're trying to stop the clock. But with the lead, that's just a miscue by Howard's defense. But the ability of Howard to put a lot of pressure on defensively has really turned this game around.
And big free throws from Jaden Guy, knocks down the first one, so he ties it back up, this time at 55.
And you've also got to remember who you might be fouling. And in this case, a guy looks very poised, like, hey, I want to be at the line.
And he buries them both. 2 big free throws for Guy and the Colonials. And that gives William Penn the lead back 56-55, 27 seconds to go here in overtime. So both teams missing some free throws down the stretch here in overtime at the end of the fourth, but Jaden Guy steps up and knocks down both of them.
It's amazing how many times little details matter. Making the right type of pass. Being a good, solid free throw shooter under pressure. Not fouling when you have a man locked up in a double team. Playing too fast when the situation doesn't call for it. If players would kind of learn those little things. And again, this has been a well-played, hard-fought game. I've been impressed with both teams. There's some terrific talent out on the floor. But it's these little things that sometimes come back to haunt you in a very close game.
Here we go. Both teams set to take the floor out of the timeout. We talked about how big free throws would be. They've been huge here. We'll see if they become even bigger. With 27 seconds to go in a 1-point ball game. Howard storms back in the third. They get the lead. William Penn ties it up in the fourth. We go to overtime. Back and forth we go in overtime.
And both teams now are out of timeouts. Both teams are in the double bonus. The arrow favors Howard, so that's the only thing that'll really stop the clock other than obviously a ball out of bounds. But teams will have to play throughout this last 27 seconds without any coach intervention.
Here we go. We've got a good one. Nick Alessandrini, Bill Harmon, Jason McCall, and Nick Holliday. As we are underway, 25 seconds to go. Howard down by 1 in overtime. It's DeShields with the ball in his hands. Richards Powell's going to launch a 3, and he connects. No timeouts for William Penn. They're down by 2. Corey Mitchell looking for somewhere to go, and a timeout. Coach Lumpkin.
According to the scoreboard, they do not have any timeouts.
And that would be big. That's what Howard's pointing up at the scoreboard. They're going to talk about it. It looks as if they had one. Maybe the scoreboard's wrong. And it looks as if it looks like they had one, Coach. Maybe the scoreboard's wrong because that's what it's looking like right now.
Well, it's the only thing it could be is the scoreboard was wrong because the scoreboard showed no timeouts for either team. So what you do, the officials get together, they consult the home book because the home book is the overriding judge here in this situation. The officials do not keep track themselves of the timeouts. So I think they're going to grant William Penn a timeout with 3.4 and an opportunity to run a play out of bounds. What a big-time shot by Richards Powell. Long range, they ran a screening action at the top for DeShields. They run, then DeShields comes off of that, a dribble handoff to Richards Powell, and he takes the long-range shot. Big-time play just in the moment it was required.
The first field goal of the game for Aiden Richards Powell, and might be the biggest one of his season. To be determined, but that's a big one. Gives Howard the lead. They're up by a field goal, leading 58-56, 3 seconds, and Sky is set to inbound for William Penn. Coach, quickly, what do you do if you're the Colonials?
William Penn needs to drive the ball. They need to get in guys' hands and drive it, try to create a foul, and Howard wants to give up no threes and no fouls.
They get it in. It's going to be a Corey Mitchell 3 at the buzzer. It doesn't go, and the Wildcats escape with a win here in overtime at home and improve to 9-2 off of the three-pointer from Aiden Richards Powell, who buried it with 10 seconds. Coach, it was a contested 3. Maybe not the best look, but you talked about the offense that they were running there. Able to hit it. A big-time shot, and Howard escapes with a victory.
Well, I give Howard a lot of credit with their defense being able to battle back in the second half. Defense was the key. Some really timely shooting by DeShields, by Johnson, and then, of course, by R.J. Matthews, who had some really great plays. And then, of course, the Aiden Richards Powell big-time 3. But I was really impressed with Howard's tenacity. William Penn is a tough team. They played very hard. Guy had an excellent game. Both teams play hard. They're well coached. They're going to be around deep in the tournament. A really well-played game here at the end of January.
That was a fun one. What a game for Jason McCall to get his debut in as well. Jason, Howard, and William Penn, a one-point game. We're going to have to start getting you out some of these. We got some good games when you're around.
Man, this is a great game, but from that juncture in the early in the third quarter where the score was 32-19, Howard essentially went on a 39-24 run, including overtime, to steal this game. Exactly what it was, a stolen win.
I'm telling you, this was a fun one. Howard gets the victory here, 58-56, and Coach Jaden Guy had 20. He had the game high. He led William Penn. R.J. Matthews had a team high 15 for Howard. And what a game it was, and R.J. Matthews and Aiden Richards Powell maybe had to play the game. If I had to put you on the spot, or a player of the game, where are you going?
Well, I really like DeShields. I think he keyed it with their defense. Obviously, absolutely. You can take the final shot, but I thought DeShields overall keyed it with his defense. He had some great penetrations, a lot of different players you could have given it to, but I thought he was really tenacious, and I was really impressed with Howard's resiliency. A really hard-fought game. William Penn goes down to defeat, but I'll tell you what, they play extremely hard for Coach Gary Lumpkin, and they will be around even though this is a tough loss to absorb on the road.
2 top 10 teams, as Coach mentioned. We will surely see come playoff time. Howard advances to 9-2 after the victory. William Penn falls to 8-5 for Nick Allison joining the coach Bill Harmon, Jason McCall, and Nick Holliday. We will see you tomorrow night at Buffalo Wild Wings for Delaware Live Sports Weekly, and then Thursday at Caravel Academy for Laurel and Caravel. 58-56, Howard comes back and gets the win here at home over the visiting Colonials.